Bigfoot, Mothman, the Wendigo, unidentified flying objects. America is home to scores of unexplained phenomena. Join Frank Ellis and his team as they venture across America to search for the truth on America Decryptid. In recent years, sightings of the infamous Sasquatch have seen an alarming increase in the woods of the northeastern and midwestern United States. Bigfoot expert Frank Ellis and his team of experienced paranormal and cryptid investigators are hot on the case. Bigfoot is commonly agreed to be a large, hairy humanoid creature, somewhat resembling an ape. Typically described as being anywhere from 8 to 15 feet tall, they are also known for their putrid smell and occasionally glowing eyes. The creature also leaves large footprints, leading to the nickname of Bigfoot.
So I've been studying Bigfoot for a while now, and I get all kinds of questions. One of them questions I get asked a lot is what I think of the big fella, what I think he actually is. And I don't really have a straight answer on that yet. I mean, that's why I'm doing this here series, is to discover the truth. But I do have a few theories. One of them being that he's a biomutated gorilla created by the US government. They gotta hide their secrets, and they're using him to scare off us, Americans, from finding them secrets. Now, I'm sure if you're watching this documentary, you've seen that famous silhouette of Bigfoot. You know, the one where he's like out in the woods just strolling menacingly? Yeah, that one. And here we're going to show you the origin of that. It actually came from a real-life Bigfoot encounter captured by these two guys, Patterson and Gimblin. And they were out in the woods out in Northern California, and they saw that tall son of a bitch, and they got him on video. And that footage, it went on to be called the Patterson-Gimblin footage of 1967. And it is probably, without a doubt, the most widely viewed video of Bigfoot to this day.
Our team's first expedition will be into the woods outside Evans City in Butler County, Pennsylvania.
So we're using this here old farm as our base of operations for the day. Luckily, I was able to go on that good old Airbnb and get a reservation for a couple hours so we can, set up our equipment, have a place to come back because it's freezing cold out there right now. I'm Frank Ellis.
I'm Kevin Bailey.
And welcome to America Decryptid. Today, we're going to be hunting that good old Bigfoot. Now, we're here in Butler County, Pennsylvania. What do you think, Kevin Bailey?
I got a hunch that they're hiding something out here, and if anyone knows what that is,
it's us.
When I told my wife that I was going out searching for Bigfoot, she was pretty supportive at first. Said she'd go out and get me some footage for the camera. That was maybe about a few months ago. I didn't think nothing of it at the time, but I think Bigfoot stole my wife.
Yep, reckon that's a chicken. Now, Kevin, see these tracks here? These look like any animal you ever seen before?
No, I don't think so.
I reckon these are Bigfoot tracks. He got big feet. They ain't just this big. They ain't this big. They're more like this big. He's a tall son of a bitch, too.
I think they are the most likely tracks to be associated with what could be considered Bigfoot.
They're going from that chicken coop over yonder.
Thinks he's eating there?
I think so.
Makes sense. Nearest KFC is about 5.6 miles away from here.
Yeah, gotta get his chicken. Figure he went out that way.
Upon further review, the team could not verify this track belonged to a Bigfoot.
So I know that Bigfoot's out there, and y'all over there know that Bigfoot is out here. But the government don't want you knowing that. The government don't want you knowing that Bigfoot's out here. But I'm Frank Ellis, and Frank Ellis is going to tell you something. Bigfoot is out there. And I'm out here showing you he's out there.
One day, I was out fishing at night in my canoe, and I was buck naked. Helps the fish bite more. And well, I saw a big fella sitting on the edge of the lake. Now, I've had men stand by the lake and look at my rod before, but this was no man. He was big and hairy. And well, I looked over to him, and he started grunting and growling at me. I could smell him too, smell like rotten eggs. Well, I tried staring at him for hours, trying to see if I could scare him away. And, you know, he eventually just left. I think got bored of me. But I tell you, I seen him.
I've been on the track for looking for Bigfoot for about 15 years now. Don't really talk to my family that much. I'm probably about 42% sure that I've seen Bigfoot at least 3 times in my life, but nothing so concrete that I can fully disclaim that. See, if there's one thing we know Bigfoot lacks, it's wander in the woods. So I feel like if we spend a good amount of time out here, we'll find something.
All right, Kevin, we've been hunting this Bigfoot for hours. Still no sign of him.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you gotta know about Bigfoot is he's one horny son of a bitch. And the only way to lure out a horny son of a bitch is a mating call.
What do you got there?
This here is a genuine Bigfoot mating call, based on the kinds the Native Americans used.
Wonder what it's gonna sound like.
It's gonna sound like something Bigfoot wants to hear. And when he hears that sound, he'll come running right to us. Hear anything?
Nope. Maybe we didn't set the mood right. We might need some candles too.
Clever. Seems I've forgotten Bigfoot's too clever to fall for one of them mating whistles anymore. Learned his lesson. I'm gonna have to go deeper. Despite the challenges of today, I think we got some good footage and maybe some good old evidence. We can send it over to our studio team for them to do some analytics. And I think they'll find what we're looking for.
The team did not find what they were looking for.
Now, a lot of them cryptid hunting shows on them televisions, they ain't gonna show you the whole truth. They're gonna show you some manufactured truth the government approved. But I don't play by those rules. I have my own independent network. And here at MTJU-TV, they let me do whatever the hell I want. And what I want is to show y'all the truth.
Sightings of Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, have been recorded in North America for hundreds of years by indigenous peoples. Native American tribes of the Pacific Northwest often view Sasquatch as a protector of nature or a spiritual figure. The Painted Rock is a sacred Yokut site in the Tule River Reservation that appears to show a family of Sasquatch-like creatures. The Cherokee spoke of the Sul-Kaulu, which bears a striking similarity to modern Bigfoot. The term Sasquatch originates from the Halk-Emilam word for hairy man, that word being Saskets. Many early American sightings referred to the wild man as an early term for what we would now call Bigfoot.
I've got an old acquaintance down in Michigan. His name is Vinny DeMarco. He's a bit of an eccentric man, but he's a man I can trust. And he calls me up and he's like, Frank, I've got a situation here. I think I see that Bigfoot, and he's snooping around. And I'm a professional investigator, and I know a case when I see one. It just so happens I'm already working on this documentary, so I tell him, I'm gonna come down to Michigan and check this out for you, and we're gonna find Bigfoot. We're gonna find him.
My name is Vinny DeMarco. I'm a crime watcher from Detroit, and I don't believe in Sam Squatch. I know Sam Squatch exists.
Hello, Mr. DeMarco.
Frank Ellis, thank you so much for coming. There's Sam Squatches in there. We're gonna find them together. I swear on
your ass we are.
I swear on my son Travis Thomas's life. Thank you. God bless you for coming.
Yeah, let's get this done. Let's go find that son of a bitch. Well, would you look at that? Looks like that son of a bitch Bigfoot's been snooping around these parts.
That's what he does, Frank Ellis. Trees like this, he strips them clean as he's climbing up to get a general view of the whole woods.
Looks like he's been here recently. Didn't finish his stripping job.
Now that you touched the tree, we have to leave an offering for the Sam Squatch. I'm gonna put a few pockies into the tree here. Sam Squatch likes pockies.
As do we all. Where could that son of a bitch gone off to?
Big, broad shoulders, 1.5 Shaquille O'Neal's in height, at least. Insane power to destroy trees and break them. Hairy face like Kenny Rogers. The Sam Squatch walks these woods. He's here. This is his home.
Well, well, well. I've seen this one before.
That's Sam Squatch,
Yeah.
Frank Ellis. That's definitely Sam Squatch.
Yeah, see what he does? He knocks over them trees and puts them into this little V here.
That's
So-
how he marks his territory to say, do not
Precisely.
come beyond this point.
Now, I wonder what he finds so special about these woods here.
In 1982, up in Saskatchewan, Canada, I was tracking a man by the name of Marijuana Chuck, who had a grow operation. Well, to keep things short and sweet, I called the cops on him. What did he do? He came down to my own home state of Michigan, into these woods here, and started to grow up. And of course, Vinny found it, because marijuana ruined my son Travis Thomas's life. So I was gonna burn this whole grow up of his down. I tracked him about 2 miles into these woods here, and he told me, Vinny, if you call the cops on me again, I will curse this land with a Sam Squatch. This is where the guy who summoned him grew the marijuana. I think I'm going to give all the pockies here.
He even marked it with a little V on it. Intriguing. Well, looks like we gotta go deeper.
I don't know about that, Frank Ellis.
It's what we gotta do. This is the truth that America deserves.
I only have a few pockies left, Frank Ellis.
Well, looked for him for hours. Found plenty of signs that the big fella was here. Yes, he just left.
There's signs all over, Frank Ellis. It's just a matter of going deeper into his home. But me personally, I'm not ready to do that. I told you when you first arrived that I swear on my son Travis's life that I will find the same Squatch with you, and I failed. I am also out of Pockies. There's nothing left to offer the Sam Squatch. If we enter those woods, we are surely dead.
Yeah. Looks like we're gonna have to come back and find him another time. But we got some good evidence, and folks back home can analyze it, and hopefully we'll come out here with something. Now let me tell you something. Bigfoot is one clever son of a bitch, and that's why he's really hard to catch on video. I'm honestly surprised he left us enough in that little expedition there that we were able to find, like, you know, just signs he was there. But I would have liked to find a video of him. It would have been nice. But, you know, I'm still pretty happy with what all we got, even if it ain't video of the big man himself. I don't know.
Hey everybody, Jim Blevins here, Great Plains correspondent with America Decryptid. We're about to head off to the Nebraska Bigfoot Convention out there in Grand Island at the Event Center, hosted by the Bigfoot Crossroads of America Museum down there in Hastings. Hopefully we're going to get to meet with Harriet. Hopefully she's feeling better, and see if we can learn about Bigfoot encounters here in the Midwest out in the Great Plains. Come along with me.
Whoa, you ugly.
So, this is Dave Scott of Northern BC, and he's been, how long have you been researching Bigfoot for?
I'm not a researcher. I'm more of an enthusiast and a radio show host.
How long have you been an enthusiast?
Probably 14 years.
14 years? You've been hosting your show for 14
10
years?
years
here?
I've been doing the show. I'm more of a storyteller. I like to be able to tell people stories. So going for the hardcore science really isn't about what I am, because there's real people having real experiences. That's who I like talking to. I want to know how they felt. I want to know what happened to them. How did it change their lives? Because there are hundreds of thousands of people every year that are having these types of experiences, and they don't know what's going on. They just want answers. You know, whether it's them seeing a UFO in the sky, or, you know, they wake up and there's a Bigfoot at the window, you know, or they're camping and something's, you know, touching their tent. They want to know what's going on, you know? So that's kind of what I like to do. I love people's stories.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jeremiah Byron from the Bigfoot Society podcast. Started the podcast in February 2019, and it's been Bigfoot focused for about a year and a half.
What are your beliefs on a connection? You mentioned both UFO, you know,
I think
Grays and Bigfoot.
I think it's all connected.
You think it's all connected?
I think that it's very narrow-minded in what we've learned over the last few years, that there isn't connection between Sasquatch, there isn't connection between UFOs and aliens and paranormal experiences. I mean, there's something that what I call the phenomena that is dictating what's going on, and the phenomena allows people to see what it wants it to see.
What are your thoughts on Bigfoot having a higher intelligence versus being more animalistic?
I think that there's definitely some sort of higher intelligence where they can tell that they can tell what the person there is all about. I've been in an area in Oregon where there were individuals present that were kind of like not really, they were just there for the evidence, and nothing weird happened. A few minutes after they left, the weird stuff started happening. These were the people that were more open to it that were there. So that's when we were able to catch a primitive form of language on a video that was taken. It's very strange.
That's awesome.
Similar to the orangutan language that's been recorded in German zoos.
Do you think it possesses a human level intelligence, a higher intelligence, or do you think there is a more animalistic level?
I'm going to answer that very, very vaguely. We don't know what it is. Now, if you ask me my personal belief on it, I believe there is something special about this creature. It is brilliant. It is, you know, I mean, to use the cliche, it's the world hide and seek champion. But there is something special about it. You know, I've had a couple of experiences with it where it's vanished. and we don't know how it vanished. You know, I mean, sure, there could be logical explanations for a lot of this, but I think it's very narrow-minded of researchers to say this is a flesh and blood creature or that this is a forest person. We don't know what it is. We don't have a body that we know of. We don't know much about it. All we have is hair samples. All we have is maybe a few scat samples, maybe some fingerprints, maybe a face print against a window. Other than that, we don't have anything. We have nothing to test. So I try and keep open-minded with everything. I'm open to all concepts, but the reality is any Bigfoot person who tells you they know exactly what it is, they're wrong. Because the reality is we do not know what it is. There's a difference between evidence and proof. We have evidence that it exists. We have sightings, we have footprints, we have handprints and hair samples and whatever, but we have no proof, concrete proof that it actually exists. There's the big difference. The flesh and blooders, you know, they're looking for scientific patterns, but in the same time, they are not using, majority of them are not using proper science, because proper science is keeping an open mind to everything. A lot of these people are not, because they've made up their mind. It's flesh and blood. It's completely spiritual or interdimensional. You have to have an open mind for everything. That's why we don't know what it is.
While many believe Bigfoot to be a flesh and blood creature capable of being captured, others subscribe to the idea that Bigfoot is instead a spiritual being that slips between our world and a higher plane.
What are your thoughts on Bigfoot being a flesh and blood being versus something of a higher, maybe a higher plane?
Yeah, so I think it's currently in my thinking, we're looking at a flesh and blood creature that can do a lot of weird stuff that science can't explain unless it's fringe science. So like if you've looked into the works of Dr. Sidney Hine, that's a good example of what I'm talking about.
Have you had any experiences yourself?
Yeah, so I've gone out in Iowa a lot, and we've had things like whoops, trees get pushed over, wood knocks. I've been out to Oregon to the Willamette National Forest. We experienced 2 different times where we were roared and screamed at by something in an area where there had been sightings the day before. And this is about 30 miles out in the woods, so no people messing around. There was also a banana left in a tree where the next day when we went and checked it, the banana had been taken out of the tree and then peeled and eaten. That was weird because that takes fingers, right?
Yeah, so that takes some dexterity.
No one was just going out there 30 miles and eating a banana.
And with Bigfoot being flesh and blood, what are your thoughts on the lack of a clear photography, clear and convincing photography, videography?
That's really weird because I've had multiple testimony from witnesses where it's not just a blurry picture, they've been looking at the Bigfoot, taking video or taking a photo, and while they look at it, without the camera it's fine, but they're looking at it through the camera viewfinder and it's blurry. That adds a whole different weird thing to it. How can it be not blurry in real life, but at the same time, when it's looked at through electronic, it's blurry, right? And I don't know how to answer that myself, to be honest.
I don't know if he's just a bit camera shy or if he's a smart cooker, so maybe he knows that, the apex predator, us humans, would just kill him if he, was out in the open. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. At this point, I just want to prove he exists.
The beautiful part of what we do, man, is we can keep an open mind.
Yeah.
And that's the fun of it. That's what keeps me going, right? Do I ever want it to be solved? Not really, because it takes the fun out of it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you play a video game, and once you finally get to the end, you're like, now what?
My buddy Keith out in Rhode Island had a pretty interesting encounter with that dang old Bigfoot. So we're gonna hear his story and see what he has to say about it.
Hey, my name's Keith. So about 6 years ago in northern Rhode Island, we went to this park at midnight for this kind of like bi-yearly pagan ritual that some friends and some acquaintances and I do. And we had the candles, we had the flashlights, and we're getting ready to set up. And we have the aromatic teas and all that brewing. and there's a rustling, pretty loud rustling. First thought, of course, bear, and then the smell. And I know bears can have a smell, but no, this was different. This is like an unwashed person, but a large unwashed person. I don't know how else to put it. And we brought bear spray for occasions like this. I mean, going into the middle of the woods late at night, sure, you know, you don't know what you're gonna run into. So we brought bear spray. I get my bear spray out, you know, just in case. Obviously, I don't want to be the aggressor. And it comes out of the brush, and it's not a bear. Bipedal, the fucking, you know, the famous footage, you know, from the 60s or whenever. That was pretty much it. It could have been the same creature. Several people got on their knees and bowed down, thinking it was some kind of forest spirit, or, you know, one of our nature gods in the pagan mythos, but I didn't. I kind of lost my mind and got really scared. The creature paid us no mind at all. It was walking through our circle as if we weren't even there. It didn't care. I remember its face. You know, they say it's ape-like. It could be descendant from apes. But I remember a face that was surprisingly human. And it had a lot of malice on that face, and yet it didn't do anything to us. It was more like it was on a mission, and I often wonder what it was doing that night. What was so important that it would traipse through our ritual circle like that and not even care. Like, it looked very angry, and yet it didn't seem to be angry at us. I don't know what it was after. I will remember this for as long as I live. And needless to say, we have moved our bi-yearly rituals to a completely different park. And I just hope I never encounter that thing again. And God help me if it had a face with such malice that was directed at me. It was massive, bigger than a gorilla, matted, dark, brown fur, and again, the smell, especially as it wafted by. Horrendous, terrifying.
So Bigfoot, he's a bit of an international phenomenon, so we need to get some international perspectives on him. Our first guest is she's a woman from Australia, and she's asked for us to keep her identity anonymous like. So we'll be obliged by that and let y'all hear her story.
So basically, what happened was I was in the wheelbarrow aisle of Bunnings, and I reached for a price tag and my hand brushed up against this hairy bloke's. I thought, fuck me. But he was a real nice bloke. He said I could have the last wheelbarrow, and I said, nah, I was going to shop at Big W anyway, so he could have it, because, Big W's got free shipping, and I'm not going to waste money on free shipping. In this economy, why would you?
Ma'am, can we get back to the subject of Bigfoot, please?
What are we talking about again? Oh, yeah, Bigfoot. Anyway, so after that, I just was on my way out, and then I was stopped by a dude who looked like he was born straight out of a Peter Jackson commercial. He had the suit and everything, and he was all in a sinister voice and everything. He was like, you shouldn't have done that. And I was like, fuck you mean I shouldn't have done that, mate? You don't work here. Walked straight past him. Almost knocked the hat right off of him, but, I've got a warrant, so I have to be a bit more careful. Anyways, I reckon you should give the Bigfoot bloke a little slack. I'd have a beer with him. I just don't want the government thinking I'm doing something on the down low with him. 'Cause, they could take away me Centrelink. And ever since I saw the Bigfoot guy, me packages from Australia Post have been intercepted. They've been coming trashed and opened and everything. But that could be because of the fertilizer I ordered off of Alibaba for $4.99. That was a great deal, that one was.
Yeah, thank you for that wonderful testimony of your encounter with that here Bigfoot. Now let's get the perspective on somebody who's a bit of a documentarian themselves. Mr. Geno Samuel, he's from Ireland, but he's living out in them Chinas right now. And he did quite a bit of documentaries on that them Japanese yokai, and Bigfoot's kind of like an American version of a yokai. So yeah, I figured he'd be a good person to get his opinion on.
My name is Geno Samuel, and I'm an independent musician and amateur documentary maker. On my YouTube channel, Geno Samuel 3, I make documentary videos about a variety of topics, and some years back I made a series about yokai, which are Japanese mythical creatures, and they kind of relate to cryptids in the sense that yokai as a term is a mix of more cryptid-like creatures and also the spiritual beings, so like ghosts and other phantasms as well are included in that mix. And as I was living in Japan at that time, that was really what interested me and what I wanted to explore at that time. But apart from the yokai stuff, I've had a fascination with cryptids for a long time, ever since I was a kid, watching these TV shows about finding cryptids, which of course they never find anything. I think Bigfoot might be a long-lost relative of us Homo sapiens. You can think of Bigfoot as like a member of a tribe that has nearly died out. These distant relatives of human beings, they're almost died out, and that's why you get these single solitary Bigfoot sightings. And since, in my opinion, they are related to human beings, then yeah, they would be of this earth. And I think it's also interesting that many cultures around the world do have this tradition of a sort of Bigfoot in their mythologies, like the Yeti and the Sasquatch, for example. So even if they don't exist anymore, perhaps they did not that long ago. If you turn a few pages back in the history of humanity, perhaps there was some contact between humans and Bigfoot.
My name is Eric Miller, and I have personally witnessed what one might call the phenomenon known as Bigfoot.
Now, when you saw this big old Bigfoot fella, what did he look like?
About 6.5, 7 feet tall, real dirty, hairy, smelly, just gross, real gross.
What were you doing when you saw the big fella?
So I was walking my dog Howie. You know Howie.
Yeah.
I was walking Howie, and so I live in a kind of wooded area. Been seeing these strange droppings in the area. Real kind of flat, pancakey black droppings. And my friend Malik, Malik. Malik says that he thinks they're bears. We don't get bears in the area. He says, yeah, you do. Okay, if you say so. So I'm walking Howie and encounter one of these particularly big piles of unidentified poop, and this smell, this real bad smell, just fills the air. Howie starts crying. You know how he cries. He cries. So, just this awful smell fills the air, and I'm like, all right, Howie, let's get out of here because I don't want to smell this anymore. All of a sudden I hear this, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Sounds like a moan of pleasure.
I hear it again. I don't like that one bit. So, all right, Howie, let's get out of here. But Howie, he freezes in place because he's scared. In his mind, it doesn't make sense to run away if you're scared. So, Howie, come on. Howie, come on. And then there's a rustling in the bushes. We got a lot of boxwood in the area, that thick boxwood. I hear it again. I'm like, Howie, let's get the fuck out of here. And then exploding out of the boxwood, this big, hairy, smelly, just, it's a silhouette. It's dark. It's a silhouette, but it's a big, hairy, smelly massive, a human shape. It comes out and looks at me with these sort of piss yellow eyes and just drooling out of its beardy mouth, and then it runs off, and you know, it's growling as it leaves, but it's doing those big heavy steps. It's like, and it ran off into, there's like a ravine, and he disappeared behind the ravine, and he kind of dropped, you know, like he might have fell off the cliff, but I never heard a splat. I don't know what to make of that, but I never heard a splat.
You think he might have teleported?
Teleported, maybe. Glided, you never know. You know, who knows?
Some kind of interdimensional portal?
All I know is he disappeared off the horizon awfully peacefully for a big, smelly, hairy thing that I'm pretty sure just took a shit in the bushes. It was a sight to behold for sure. I don't know, you know, it still keeps me up at night, and you know, Howie, he's never been the same.
Now I'd like to take a moment to sincerely thank all y'all viewers for tuning in today and watching us on this journey to find Bigfoot. Now I know we didn't get y'all any video evidence of Big Feller, but I do think we got a lot of things y'all can ponder down at home. And I hope that you tune in again next time we go to hunt some cryptid here on America Decryptid. This has been your host, Frank Ellis, and I hope that all of you have a great night. And remember, finding the truth ain't easy, but it's always worth it. You want to see my nipple?
The fish like to... No, what are they again?
I just imagine they all sound like Skeletor.
Yeah, probably.
You're getting a little bit too much to handle. Now this right here, this is what we call cat. He ain't big. She's just a little guy. This is a cat.